Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
In 3, 2, 1, let's go!
So yeah, this is KVD. I'll be co-commentating with Valkyrie here on my right. So let's waste no time and introduce our pilots. So on the left side, we have WMJ, former world champion of 0x, and he already performed this game twice at AGDQ. And then on the right is Daniel, who is above and beyond in this game. He's the dominant world champion. Has been for years now. And, yeah. So far, slight lead for Daniel.
So in this game you're going to be seeing them slide around a lot, and it's called sliding, as you might expect. It allows you to get a speed boost by setting your machine to max acceleration settings, and by doing that you get a speed boost whenever you lose grip and then you slide around like that. And when you combine that with a boost, you can get pretty high speeds, and then by just boosting you can keep that speed for a long time, pretty much as long as you can boost.
They both went for the mandatory death finish.
Yeah, of course. It doesn't save any time, but it looks cool.
So one thing we should note early on is that the incentive or the goal of this run is to beat all of the staff ghosts. So in theory they can get a time, especially on a track like this, like Silence, that if they make a small mistake, that the staff ghost actually beats them. So then they have to redo the track.
Yeah, this type ghost is actually pretty tough as well. And we'll be seeing two different strats here by the looks of it. WMJ is going for slider strats, whereas Daniel is going for jumper, where he just plays on high max speed settings, and that allows him to just drive straight forward and keep boosting, whereas WMJ is going to do some rail slides and some other tricks to get ahead, because he does have a lower top speed as a result.
Also, I think Daniel might be going for the dive strat at the end of lap 2. So if you've played this game in time attack, then chances are that you've played this track a lot, because it's very straight and you have to try and hit all the zippers. It's a fun track to play in time trial, but you've probably never seen this.
Oh, yeah,
and
it's very risky.
And that's why.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to get this lift off at all. You need a certain speed to you need to be going a certain speed to be able to do it, and then angle your ship in a certain way so you can get lift off, and that's the easy part.
Yeah, and then you have to angle your ship sideways, and when you double tap or do side attacks, you get a speed boost from it, and that allows you to land with a lot of speed, and then you can beat the staff ghost with a bit more leeway. But it is very risky, as you can see.
So you already mentioned the DTD, double tap dive. It's a big mechanic in this game. I've given it a few goes and I cannot do it properly. I've seen you try your hands at it, and you're a bit more proficient at it than me. So
a bit, yeah.
Maybe you can explain what goes into
you want to be sideways in the air, so you're. I don't know how to explain it. Basically, you're at a 90-degree angle, so you can do double taps upward, and that will give you a speed boost. You can also do it in the half-pipe track, which will be later on. I believe that the developers actually knew about the trick in the half-pipe. They just didn't know it also worked in the air. So with that trick you can save a lot of time, but it's cool that the developers left it in despite knowing of a little speed exploit.
So for the moment it might seem that Wouter has a really big lead, but like we saw before, this game is very unforgiving, so if you make one crash, I'm not sure what Daniel was going for, but that was also again very risky.
Yeah, I think he was going for the air ground glitch, which, if we see it later, we'll explain it, because it is very strange. So whenever they exit the tunnels, they try and do a little dive to get some extra speed, because this staff ghost is also pretty good if you try to beat it with just jumper settings. So those dives will really help stay ahead.
I for one really struggle beating this Death Ghost. And
Yeah.
I'm top 100 in this game. I'm not really good, but should be okay enough to beat Death Ghost at least. But some of these Death Ghosts are really hard, but as we progress into the game, it becomes easier and easier to beat because the tracks are shaped in such a way that advanced strategies become more and more available.
Yeah, definitely.
So whenever there's a lot of air to be made, it's easy to beat the Death Ghost because you can do dives more easily. The first track we'll be seeing a lot of flying is coming up after this one for Wouter. It's Big Blue.
Oh yeah, in Big Blue we'll be seeing some crazy strategies and also very risky, so things could change at any moment. So you'll notice even though this track doesn't have a lot of turns, they still go for slider settings, and that's because the rail slides really allow you to get speed even when you're going straight ahead. It's just important to refill your energy so you can keep boosting whenever you get into the boost laps.
Well, this is the first real risky point of the run. Big Blue one.
And he's going for a Blood Oak, which might mean he's playing it a bit safe.
So yeah, the perfect machine. Wow, the perfect machine for this track, or the optimal machine for this track, would be Twinnerida, but you don't win that much time with it compared to the Hellhawk, and you have to go into the menu to change the machine. So you know it probably adds up to 0 time win. So you might as well stick with the Hellhawk.
Yeah.
If you're used to him anyway.
So what they're doing is a double tap dive to get onto the track, but then they bounce off of the cylinder and they try to keep floating to get to the next part of the track. Thankfully the machines are pretty light so you can float and get a bit of height, but this is still very risky. Wouter playing it a bit safe there.
It's interesting to know that Daniel actually did go for the Twinnerida.
Yeah,
So he's trying
not
to
going for the full dive by the looks of it.
He's squeezing out.
That being said, he
all the
does
potential.
still do other dives to get a lot of speed, so this could still be pretty close in time. Alright,
Wouter
Wouter finished
didn't
without
crash.
dying. That is very good.
Indeed it is. To give you an idea how much difference there is between, I mean the spreads that you're seeing obviously to the untrained eye already look like pretty crazy. But if you go all out and if you are a god at 0x like these guys are, you can actually get sub 50.
It's also important to know that they're trying not to lift off of the cylinder because it doesn't have a very strong gravitational pull, so if you go too far away, like, it allows you to do these dives, but it also allows you to just go straight into the ocean. So they want to be very careful about that. So Port Town is the one track where most people learn to do double tap dives because it has that perfect setup and allows you to just land on a wide bit of the track and you just have a lot of time to really get some speed going.
Yeah, one thing we just saw on Daniel's screen there is you can actually fly through the buildings. They're only graphical, not actually solid. So you'll see after the big jump, or during the big jump, you see these two skyscrapers thingies. You'll just fly through. Oh, he just went to the right now, but in lap 1 he went straight through it.
So WMJ is coming up to Sector Alpha, which also has a very difficult staff ghost. And thankfully there's a dive you can do that saves a little bit of time, and it should allow him to beat the Staff Ghost as long as he doesn't die. It is a very tough jump because as soon as you lift off, the camera goes crazy and you can't really see where you're going, so you just have to rely on your inputs and then you pray that you land on the track. So if you get to dive properly, you can get up to 1400 kilometers per hour, which is a lot higher than your normal top speed, so that'll allow you to really get a head start on the Staff Ghost.
So one thing we should have probably already mentioned by now is that they are playing the 64 disc drive version, and that's because they will also be playing the extra tracks that were released on the 64DD only. And this is also because when you manage to beat all the Staff Ghosts, including those on the expanded version, you actually get a little credit scene at the end. It's like a very unknown Easter egg that most F-Zero X runners don't even know about.
It's
because most
glorious.
runners don't actually have access to the 64 disc drive.
Yeah, these things are really rare. They didn't sell well at all, so they only came out in Japan, and they are very expensive. But thankfully both of these guys have it, and it adds a bunch of cool features like a track editor, a ship editor, some extra music, and yeah, just a few more tracks.
In the end, both of these guys had no problem beating the Staff Ghost, but Wouter actually lost 1 life there. Thankfully it was on lap 1 though, so...
And thankfully this is time attack mode and not Grand Prix mode, so we don't have to worry about getting game overs.
That's true.
Yep, you're good to go for a donation.
Okay, we have a €10 donation from Shadow Wolf LP saying, well, I promised it, €2.50 for every death in SpongeBob. And thank you for your generous donation.
So now would be a good time to talk about the air-ground glitch, because it's coming up soon.
Yeah.
Take it away, because I don't know.
I only have a vague idea of how it works, but by going into the rail and then immediately leaving it again, you can trick the game into thinking you're still on the ground, and it allows you to fly just like this. It doesn't save a ton of time, and it's very hard to do, but you can get a really nice dive out of it, so that'll help going into the next lap.
Wouter got it perfectly. That's nice to see.
So you really have to get a good setup for it and land your DTD properly. It's also important to hit the checkpoint in the air where Daniel is right now, otherwise you'll just end up dying.
Yeah, we might see a checkpoint death later on in the run, hopefully not, but it could happen, for example, on Sector Beta or what's the other one, Red Canyon 2.
Yeah, definitely.
So one thing that shows that the game still thinks you're on the track is that you can actually hit the refill zone while you're in midair.
Yeah,
and
that's a very weird side effect.
Fill your energy right back up.
You can also look at the minimap and see that the icon for where you're at shifts very quickly.
Exactly.
When you reach a certain checkpoint. And both of them got it without dying.
Yep.
On to Mute City 2.
Which is definitely not a given.
Yeah, for sure. This track has a few jump plates, so you're gonna see a few more double tap dives coming up right here. So beating this dive course here won't be an issue at all.
From here on in, these guys probably only have to worry about surviving, staying on the track. Daniel is slowly catching up, but Wouter is not making any major mistakes, so it's still a nice lead for him.
But now we have Big Blue 2.
But we definitely have a race going here.
Yeah. Things could change here. There are some risky strats here that they could go for. Like that
And he
tunnel
went
dive.
for it too. Wow. Mad props. Because the risk reward on that is not that great. I mean, you win a.
And
a
the
little
boat went
bit of
for it
time.
and got it.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Maybe because these runners are both so well, you know, very good at this game. It's hard to appreciate how difficult these strategies actually are.
Yeah, they really are.
They are mostly just viable for ILs, but they are somehow able to pull it off consistently enough to do it all in one run.
Aww. So that's a different dive you can do. So you,
Exactly, but
yeah, with that dive you just let gravity do its thing, let it pull you back on the track, and that'll give you a little speed boost.
it almost breaks your heart to see him fail that in lap 3. It's
Yeah.
just the extra, I don't know what he was going for, maybe 1 second, half a second, and then you lose a minute just like
Yeah.
that.
F-Zero games are really brutal like that. You don't have a lucky to put you back on the track or anything. You just have to restart entirely.
Shout out to Lucky 2. Actually, I hate that guy. Whiteland 1 is another one of those tracks where some really crazy strategies are possible. I've seen Wouter land after the tunnel, the tunnel that you enter the lab with. You can actually skip it. But that's not going to be happening during a live run though.
There's also some bigger dives you can do right there, but there's a thing in this game called a jump plate glitch, where you just go straight through a jump plate without actually jumping, and that results in death because there's no wall behind it or track, and so they're trying to play it a bit safe, not go too fast into them. You will probably see jump plate glitches later, but hopefully in places where they don't immediately kill you, like right here.
So I think because the jump plate glitch is such an annoying thing, I will actually donate 10 euros per jump plate glitch. Exactly, so mutually 3 we're gonna definitely see at least one jump plate glitch. So maybe more. We'll see if I regret this later.
You might.
Meanwhile, Wouter's moved on to Firefield, which is one of the most spectacular tracks to watch.
If you do a boost slide here, you'll get enough speed to lift off, and then you have to land on that thin piece of the track. And if you land in the rail, it's fine, but you will lose a lot of energy.
Oh yeah.
Even though the Bloodhawk has a B-rated body, it's still a lot of damage, especially at such a high speed.
Yeah, so Daniel's about to enter Firefield. You say that Mozart composed symphonies and Van Gogh painted paintings. Daniel plays Firefield. So just watch this. It's fucking awesome. Sorry.
And the suicide finish.
That was just out of this world. I mean, I believe that it's faster than anyone has ever done it, except himself, of course. But I mean,
So now Wouter is on Silence 2. This is a very good track for sliding. The Staff Ghost also slides here, and it's important on the boost laps to make sure you hit those boost plates so you can keep sliding at a high speed and also keep your energy in check. It's actually really hard to hit those boost plates while you're sliding.
another very make or break track coming up for the run with Wouter here with Vector Beta. And it's because of this, mainly because of this loop skip they're doing in lap 2 and 3. You need enough speed, initial momentum to actually be able to pull it off at all. But that won't be a problem probably.
And there is also this blind... Whoa.
The blind dive,
Okay,
yeah.
he saved it. That's good.
The blind dive is notorious as well. Totally.
So he doesn't have a lot of speed right now, so I don't think he's going for the loop skip.
He actually didn't have the momentum required. And
Yeah.
it's probably, because he's in the lead, it's actually probably a viable strategy not to go for it at all.
Probably.
I'm pretty sure Daniel's gonna go for it. And maybe Wouter will go for it in the next one. No, he doesn't have energy. Yeah. Well, as long as you're surviving, I think it's fine.
Daniel also.
Daniel, and I can understand that.
Yeah,
He's
he did
already-
tap into the wall. So that's
He's
probably
already
caused him a
lagging
bunch of
behind
speed.
by 2 laps, so if he crashes one more time, then it's going to really
Yeah.
end up losing a lot of time again.
Wouter
Yeah,
playing it safe there at the
I
end.
respect
make
that
sure he
decision.
just doesn't die and lose over a minute.
Wouter got a 124. I think there's still a pretty solid amount of time that Daniel can win here. Except he didn't go for the blind dive either.
Yep. Also playing it safe.
But still, it's gonna be sub 120. That was not conservative for the finish at least.
No, not really. Alright, so Red Canyon 2. Here we can see another checkpoint just not activating and then resulting in death, so hopefully that doesn't happen. It's not always clear where the checkpoint exactly is, so you have to really play a lot to get a feel for it and like, get a visual cue for it if possible.
So So what happens if you're a little too far to the left or to the right?
Or
you
too far up, or too far down.
Yeah, exactly. Just wrong. What happens is you still land, but you just, you know, you can still reach the track, but not really, because the game just says no, and you fall through.
Yeah.
So
That part of the track just won't be loaded, and you just fall through. Alright, so about to survive the checkpoints.
and one more checkpoint to go for Daniel. Yes, we're good.
Very nice. Okay, yeah.
Oh, White Land 2. Oh boy.
Okay, so yeah, this is the half-pipe track where double tapping was found. As you can see, when he's going onto the side of the railing, he's going to get a lot of speed because he's double tapping outward. And that means that if you go too far to the side, then you'll just fly off because you're constantly right next to the edge.
Wouter really needs to keep his composure now.
So you can use the pipe physics to get some really crazy jumps going, and that allows you to do that skip, but you do still have to hit a checkpoint in the air or avoid a kill plane, one of those, and that can also be very difficult if you don't get a good lift off.
Daniel just went for the extra swag at the end of the lap, which is super risky. Oh my god.
Yeah, usually you won't survive something like that happening.
I think he pulled through like a champion there.
Yeah.
Wow, that was the edge of the seat stuff right there. Very close now. And really, really cool that he didn't crash, actually, because now we get some synchronized action. Oh well, let's see.
Alright, so this is where your wallet
Let's see how much damage to the wallet will be done. Oh, hopefully not too much, because the strategies that they can show you if they do not get a jump plate glitch are out of this world, pretty much.
Yeah,
so let's hope
definitely.
that it doesn't happen too often.
There's one.
Rip. Okay, go into a little bit how the jump plate works, the glitch. It's like,
Well, it's basically that you're going so fast that the way I think it works, at least, is that one frame you're right in front of it and the next frame you're behind it. There's two.
Exactly.
And so there's never a frame where you're in contact with the jump plate, and so you just drive straight past it.
Exactly. A little bit of an oversight
Yeah.
by the programmers, but I guess they weren't really calculating on the speeds that these guys are going at.
So there's actually an action replay code that allows you to make the jump plates bigger. There's 3. And when the jump plates are bigger, then the glitch pretty much doesn't happen at all anymore. But thankfully all the glitches happen in places where they didn't end up dying immediately.
Yeah, counter 3 as well.
But there is more
That's
coming
okay.
up.
Yes, yeah. So that's like at the very end of the entire run, the second to last track, I believe. There is one jump plate that's particularly nasty right at the end of the lap, and if you get the glitch there, you die.
Yeah, you just
So
drive
that-
straight into the abyss.
So
And we were doing multiplayer yesterday. It actually happened to both of them at the same time. So it's very common.
so keep that in mind. If we're approaching the end of the run, and then one of the guys has a big lead, it's still not over. There's like the 2 minutes that can easily be gained or lost there if you have a little bit of bad luck at the end of lap 3.
Yeah.
There's not that much you can do about it.
You can slow down and... Nah, that's not really an option.
These guys are too proud to slow down.
Ooh.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Oh, they're perfectly in sync. Beautiful.
Oh no! Jinxed it.
I'm sorry.
No. And it's gone.
Also, the music you're hearing right now is exclusive to the expansion kit
Yeah.
with the disc drive.
Whenever they get to this track in the 64 disc drive version, I always mention that as well.
Yeah.
Because it's just so...
It's
awesome.
so good. It's a shame the regular version doesn't have it. It's just the one of the other track music.
It's the Mario Kart 64 soundtrack, but better because it's F-Zero.
Yeah.
It's the same for the track actually. It's the Mario Kart 64 track shape. For the Mario Kart 64 it takes 6 minutes or so. Stupidly long anyway. You're going really slow and you cannot fall off. And this Rainbow Road, same track shape but a lot more intense. So you can actually finish 3 laps in F-Zero X in the time that you need to finish 1 lap in Mario Kart 64.
Yeah, pretty much.
Meanwhile, Wouter pulled through without crashing, so it means he has a 1 lap lead again. These liftoffs after landing are so risky.
Yeah. So Devil's Force 3 is kind of funny in the way that it's like a certain shape and then you just flip upside down and then you do the same thing again, but it's mirrored.
This track is like the gliding tutorial track, I would say.
Yeah, it's pretty good for that. A lot of turns and rail slide. So unfortunately, when you go into like the 180-degree slope, then you pretty much lose all your speed.
So Wouter is coming up on Space Plant. Another one of my favorites to watch. And while we were warming up earlier, Daniel actually got a world record there. So that was pretty awesome to see. Wouter did not get the lift off at the beginning of the lap. That cost him a couple of seconds. So if you rail slide at a certain angle, you can build enough momentum to actually lift off right at the beginning of the ramp. That allows you to immediately go into a dive and win a lot of time. So you can keep that momentum going for on the cylinder after as well.
So in boost laps you're pretty much guaranteed to get it, but it is a very long dive and you have to be very precise to land.
Even went for the extra dive to the cylinder.
Yeah, that one is very scary because you can just bounce off the cylinder and never get back on.
That looks like an IL only strat to me, but okay. You know, these guys got the skills.
Yeah, there's some differing definitions of IL only strats.
Yep.
And of course going for the firework finish.
Yep. Like any self-respecting F-Zero player would. I really like how controlled those dives look.
Yeah. definitely.
Because the
Makes it look
alternative,
easy.
yeah, he makes it look easy. The alternative is like a much longer dive. You go right facing, and that looks a lot riskier, and it probably is. Like some minus points for Daniel there for not dying at the finish.
Yeah. I mean, I think he should redo the track
Yeah.
and do the firework finish.
Absolutely.
So on this Sand Ocean track, the track just goes up and down, and it has a lot of opportunities to lift off and do little dives, but if you don't expect it, it can also just result in you jumping over the railing and just dying.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happened yesterday. I was just rail sliding at the start, and then I just jumped over the rail, and I didn't notice it in time. Thankfully, these guys do know what they're doing, so that doesn't happen.
An interesting skip in this one as well.
Yeah, so this is Portan 2, which is actually shaped after the track in Azure SNES. But it's a lot faster, and it doesn't have the little jump skip that you can do in the SNES version. But you can do some other cool tricks. There are also very sharp turns, which are really difficult to make without hitting the wall. Thankfully, hitting the wall isn't a really big issue. As long as you have the energy to survive it, that is.
They're making it look sort of comfortable right now, but I've seen that glitch, or not a glitch, skip being performed where Wout was actually already under the track, and he somehow still managed to pull his vehicle up and just, you know, go through the track and
Yeah.
still, you know.
Like, if you just hit the side of the track, you'll get teleported on top of it.
Exactly. So he just resurrected himself,
Yeah.
even though everyone thought it was already long gone. Wouter is now entering the final track of the regular set of tracks. The big hand.
Everybody's favorite track. Except for the people who have played the expansion kits, they have different favorites right at the end of the run.
Bigfoot.
Yep. It's just an amazing track design, you'll see when we get there. But big hand already, if you look at it, it's just a hand. So it's a lot of opportunities for sliding, which is nice. But other than that, there's not much going on. There's a few places where there's no railing, so you can fall off, but it's not
some ice,
super exciting.
yeah. I think in multiplayer it's a bit better, because if you are equally paced, you can try and, you know, micro machine yourselves off the track or the opponent. That's
exactly.
the goal. Usually end up throwing yourself off though. So I guess now would be a good time for donations. So people.
Yeah, yeah. Also, it's worth noting that the ice is actually very dangerous because you basically just keep sliding in a straight line. In F-Zero GX, it just makes you lose your grip, and you can still maneuver pretty decently, but in this game, you have almost no control, so if you're going toward the edge of the track, then it's very scary.
So Wouter has a lead of roughly 1 lap, a little less. Might seem like a lot, but again, it's still anyone's game. Especially because of that second to last track with the jump blade glitch that might happen.
There's
Hopefully
also silence for you, where if you
Yeah.
go too fast, you can actually lift off of the inverted loop, and
exactly,
very
that's not to forget about the other 64DD only tracks. A bunch of them are very, very, very tricky.
yeah. At the very least, this is time attack mode, because in Grand Prix mode, you can actually have the AI bump into you, and that can mess you up really badly as well. And they also go like way faster than you can. So it's not really a fair race. Like if you don't do the dives, you're probably not gonna get first.
You can actually fly off from the top of this loop if you're going too fast.
And of course you can abuse that for a really big dive.
A very big dive indeed. Ooh. And one more down for Wouter without crashing. That must be a relief every time.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Oh,
Sand,
yeah.
Sand Ocean 3, Wouter's gonna put on a survival hat, because this is one of those tracks that a crash can literally occur anywhere
Yeah.
because of the cylinder physics and the high speeds. So cylinders and high speed is not a good combo.
I mean, it's
It
a
looks
good combo
good.
and it's, yeah, exactly, it looks good, but it's very dangerous, and with turns like that, it's very difficult to actually stay on the track.
He's holding on.
That's also a very difficult dive to do because you can't see very far ahead of you, so you have to estimate where the track is going to be and then line yourself up and hopefully land it.
Oh, yep, it happened. Wouter still got one big dive to go. He got it.
Very nice.
A big sigh of relief on the left side here.
Yeah, unfortunately the render distance is really short, so it's hard to like see where you're meant to go. If they were ever to re-release this game, that would be a nice thing to fix. Just make sure you can see way further ahead, and that would make these jumps a lot less scary.
Didn't stop Daniel from pulling out all the stops again on that final dive.
So unfortunately, the disk drive does add a lot of loading times to that menu. The more tracks you have saved, the longer it's going to take. And he said he had about 90 tracks saved, so it's a lot of lag, unfortunately.
I noticed before the run started, he quickly deleted a couple, but you know.
Yeah, he removed them from the edit cut at least.
Reduced it a little bit, but.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate because there's a lot of storage space, which is cool, but then it impacts the performance like that. But it's also not really viable to have a second one to store all your stuff and then another one to do runs on, because they're kind of expensive. So here we have Port Town 3, which is also a very strange track. A lot of these weird turns and some bumpy roads. I don't know, something about the disk drive tracks, they just decided to go all out and do all sorts of crazy things.
Extremely narrow stretch of road at the end of the lap.
Oh, Daniel actually going for a dive there. Very, very ballsy.
Yeah, well, he needs to do something. Catch up time. Oh yeah.
That part really scares me because I know they're not going that fast, so jump blade glitch is unlikely. If it does happen, it's instant
He was
death.
going pretty fast still,
Yeah.
so it could still happen.
But thankfully, it didn't happen for either of them. So they're on the track that's just a big X, which is not all that exciting. On tracks like these, it's important to just have really optimal sliding and not falling off the edge.
Ah, the track that is shaped like the map of Japan.
Indeed, and it also has some very strange music that's only used on this track. Shaping a track like this is a funny idea, but it does make for some very awkward turning. And it doesn't help that they made the track so narrow as well. Then you have a little jump blade as well to jump to the islands. Daniel going all out for the jump and the air slides. Just trying to catch up, which is definitely still a possibility. Now Wouter's moving on to the second cup.
The final cup of the run.
So this is another half-pipe track, except this one is a bit different in that it gets really, really narrow right here. Thankfully they don't make you do a very sharp turn while it's like that, but it's still very easy to fall off. Unfortunately, you don't have as many possibilities to use double taps here to speed up, but you can still do that dive right there, which allows you to gain some speed. So rather than double tapping, it's just going to be sliding through the half pipe. That also gives you some speed like regular sliding would, except you keep going pretty much in a straight line, which is very convenient.
Oh no. You could see that he was going more aggressive
Yeah,
than
definitely.
Wouter was going, because Wouter has a lead, so he wants to preserve it.
And that track that Wouter's on right now, this is where a jump blade glitch would be very devastating. So let's hope the money stays in Kyle's pockets and we don't get any jump blade glitches here.
For the race it would be interesting if it did happen, actually. Just saying.
I mean, you're not wrong, but yeah, that jump blade just leads into doom.
If Wouter clears this one, then he's pretty clear for the win. Not completely, of course. Anything can still happen, but
Alright,
this is a big thing. Yeah. Survived. Oh, it's still F-Zero. It's still F-Zero X, so anything can still happen. I mean, obviously. But this was a big one to get out of the way.
Yeah.
Also for Daniel right here.
Yeah, here's going to be a big trade-off of, is he going to go for as much speed as possible, or is he just going to play it safe?
He kinda has to, but it will also increase the risk.
Yeah.
Of the
I didn't
jump
see a lot of
leverage.
holding back there, so I think he is
No.
going to be risking quite a lot.
That's not the name of his game.
That's for sure.
Scary.
Yeah.
Okay.
At least you get some style points for that. Okay, he survived the jump plates.
Yep.
You can see Wouter just cutting it through the dirt. When you're boosting, it doesn't really affect you, so you can just boost through and just take the fastest path possible. And the mines can be both a blessing and a curse. They allow you to do that little jump over the railing and skip a part of the track. But they can also make you, if you hit one on accident, you can just lift over the track and not land anywhere. And they also don't disappear when you hit them. They just stay there for the next lap and they'll always be in the way.
Which is something they changed for GX.
Indeed.
Yeah.
In GX, when you blow up a mine, it actually gets replaced with a tiny little lava pool, which doesn't really hurt you except if you're at 0 energy, in which case it will just finish you off. Which I think it is a good change, as opposed to just leaving the mine there. So in this fire-filled track, there is also a crazy jump here. It just goes straight down, and even when you're just playing normally, you can lift off, and it's very disorienting. As you can see, it's like you really have to know what's coming up.
Yeah,
to
that's the most
it.
disorienting jump of the game, probably. And like Valkyrie said, anyone gets it playing this track. Daniel running into some trouble there.
Thankfully, with the high acceleration settings, you can just sit in the energy refill for a moment and get right back up to speed.
Yeah. One track ahead.
That's another jump like glitch. So
I missed it.
Yeah, it just went straight through into the dirt. But that's the important one. So that part of the half pipe is really nicely designed. You can just keep double tapping and just get a lot of speed from it. And because you're just going in a straight line, it's also not as likely that you'll fall off because you're trying to make a turn, which is really nice. So it's good for learning to at least do basic double tapping.
Oh,
Oh no.
it actually happened.
Yeah, that's devastating.
And suddenly we have a really interesting race now.
Yeah.
Very, very bad luck for Wouter. He wasn't even going that fast.
Yeah, like it can happen, it's just a really low chance at such a low speed.
But that's 50 euros now.
Indeed.
I knew what I was doing. I've seen this game. I've seen this game before. Yeah. So, as Wouter was saying, you cannot hear him, but it's like that is the worst possible thing that can happen in the run at the end of the race there. And in theory, it can happen again. I mean, obviously. So let's just pray it won't happen. Wouter still has a little bit of lead though. Roll the jump blade god. Make one more victim.
And it just decides to skip it for now. Playing it safe, which is probably the smartest thing to do.
Oh yeah. Daniel didn't get it, so...
But now it
Oh
is
my God.
really close. It's all gonna come
The
down
finale
to
is going to be
Bigfoot.
intense.
Yeah.
So now the amount of tracks stored on your disk drive actually matter.
Yeah,
At this
Wouter
moment
taking
in
the
time.
lead here with less tracks.
Oh, it's very marginal though.
Yeah,
Oh dear.
it's less than a second apart at this point, so... Yeah, so this is Bigfoot. As you can see on the map, it's just a giant foot, but the toes are so tiny it's almost impossible to get through without just ramming the walls, so the strat is just to slide and hit the walls and not care about the damage.
It's like almost a shame that such an exciting finale is played on this track.
Yeah, kind of.
It's not gonna stop us from enjoying it.
And thankfully they did put regen pits on the toes, so you can survive it, but when you're boosting it, you take a lot more damage, and yeah, it's just not very well designed.
Oh my god. I think Daniel just took us narrow lead actually at the moment.
Indeed. It's so close though. Also, they're on the final lap, so get ready on time in half a minute.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. It's going to be a time.
Yeah. That's
Time.
one.
And
two.
time. Wow.
A very nice race, guys.
Very exciting race and very, very unfortunate for Wouter that he got a jump plate glitch in
Yeah.
the final lap.
And
Ah yeah.
106.48 and 106.50.
yeah. And so we get this screen, which not a lot of people have seen, or even know it exists.
It's extremely obscure to see a dancing Mr. E.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, this just goes on for as long as you can, as long as you want. So we can
For
cut
as
it
long as you
at
can
any
bear
time.
it.
Yeah, I mean, I could listen to this all day, to be honest. Just watch him dance, have fun.